text laid out in there. Now things are going to change as we add the images. We'll change the layout a little bit. We can make some other adjustments. I just want to take a second here to show you my folder, my project folder or file folder that has my InDesign file there, and it has some of my images that I'm going to use in this file that I will link into that. You can also save your original text in here. If you typed out this article in Microsoft Word or some other Word formatting, text formatting software, you can save that original file in here also. Any other images you are going to use, any original font files, you can use those and save those in this folder. Okay, I'm saving that on my desktop. You can save it on the cloud. You can save it in a flash drive on your desktop, in your documents, wherever you want. Okay, once again, trying to keep everything together. All right, first thing I'm going to do is bring in an image here. A couple ways we could do that. I could draw out a text box first, or not a text box, but a rectangle tool, a rectangle frame, and insert the image in there, or I could just file, place the image in there. What I want to make sure though is make sure that nothing is selected. So I'm going to go to my selection tool, click off to make sure none of these other boxes are selected, none of my images are selected, none of my type is selected. So I don't want to replace that with an image. So I'm clicked off there. I can even zoom out and make sure nothing is selected. Command minus on a Mac or Control minus on a PC. I'm just looking at this from a distance. I'm not changing anything. I can look at it closer. Command plus on a Mac or Control plus on a PC. And I'm going to file, place, and it should go to my folder. And I think I'm going to put this one image in here. Now I'm going to pretend this is a artist work and my article is about this specific artist. I'm going to open that and I can click and input that wherever I want. Now this is a pretty big file, a pretty big image, and it's taking up most of my pages, 2 pages. I don't really want it to do that. I want it to be a little bit smaller and maintained on one page or contained in one page. Now when I put images in there, and I'm on my move tool here or my selection tool in my toolbar, if I happen to be on another tool here, I can always come back to my selection tool. You can see there's a hotkey, shortcut key on my keyboard, which is V. If I click that, that'll take me to this tool also. Well, a couple things I can do. That unlike Photoshop, an image in InDesign sort of has 2 parts. It has the actual image and then the container or the frame or box that that image is in. So I can adjust this a couple ways. I can adjust the size of this box. Click on my selection tool. I click this corner anchor, and I can make that window or that image frame smaller. I can hold the shift key down on my keyboard so it maintains the ratio or the proportion. Alright, it just makes that a smaller. I want to make this almost a 3-column image, so I'm made that window smaller. Now what's going on is that's going to crop my image. Maybe I want it to, maybe I don't. How do I move my image around? Just my image. I can click on this circle here and or that target, and I can move that image around within that text frame. Okay, or within that image frame. That frame is still there. Okay, the image is being moved around within it, if that makes sense. Well, what if I want this whole image within that frame? I can right click on that image, fitting. I have a couple different options: fill frame proportionally, fit content proportionally, content aware fit, fit frame to content, or fit content, that's the image, to the frame. There we go. So it's fit to that frame, and I sort of like that. Let me zoom out a little bit. Not too bad. And I can move my image over this way a little bit. I can bring it all the way to the edge. Maybe I would like that. I could bring it all the way so it's sort of within that margins. It's up to you, however you want to do that. And, well, maybe I want to make this a little bit bigger. I'm going to select that box, hold the shift key down, the corner of that box, make it a little bit bigger. I want to go all the way across those 3 columns. And right click, fitting, fit frame to content, which is that. Oh, let me fit content to frame. You see some shortcut keys here. Shift, Option, or Shift Command E can do the same thing. There we go. Now the only problem is it's over the text, so it's knocking out some of that text. How I can take care of that is by putting a text wrap on this image, which will push the text out of the way. So if I click on this image, selection tool, click on that image. If I happen to click off, I can just click back on there. And up here in the control panel should be some options for my text frame. Right now it has no text wrap on it. I can do a wrap around the bounding box. So there it goes. It pushes all the text out of the way. I could do wrap around the object shape. So if this wasn't a perfect rectangle shape, maybe it was a circle shape, I could do that. Or above and below. That would put the text just above and below it. All right, I want this to sort of wrap all the way around it. Now, not too bad, except that text is a little too tight to that. So I want to change that text wrap a little bit more, and I can do that through my text wrap window right here. If I don't see it here, I can go to Window and find the text wrap window up there and open it up. By the way, I'm on the Essentials Classic. I can also do Essentials or Essentials Classic and these other workspaces. I'm doing Essentials Classic. And to see my text wrap, I can click that. I have a few more options. There's those other options I had before. And this is the spacing around there. Okay, this is going to give me a little more spacing around there. Right now it's locked, so if I change one, it should push off in all directions, right and left, top and bottom. You can see they're changing here. I could make them all different. I could unlock them and enter in manually some different sizes. So I would just push this out until it feels right, until you can sort of eye it up. Now you don't want it to be too little bit of text here, so that's sort of whatever you think looks good at this point. Get used to that as you work at this more and more. There we go. So I'm still maintaining my 4 columns, 2 columns per page, but I'm just giving it a little more breathing space, a little more negative space around this image. Now we know we got about a ½ inch margin here. I could do almost a ½ inch here if I want. There's my gutter is 3.75. I'm keeping that 3.75 here so I can do some connections like that. Alright, I can close that window and let me zoom out a little bit. So there, it looks a little more cleaner, not so crowded. Okay, so it's adding images. Let me add one more image in here. And for that, I'm going to go ahead and make another text frame on my last page. Now you would actually have your article text you're working with. I'm just filling it with placeholder text. Go to my move tool or selection tool. Fill with placeholder text. Once again, text frame options. 2 columns, gutter 3.75. And I think everything else is okay. I did do justify on this. And okay, there we are, not too bad. Now I can bring in one more image here. I'm clicking off that. File, place, and let me find another image here and open. And I can just click that here. Oh, I definitely want to make this a lot smaller. On my move tool or selection tool, grab that corner, make it smaller. I'm going to hold the shift key down while I'm resizing this. Let go of the shift key. Now that frame will be the same proportion or same ratio. Let me make it a little bit smaller. There we go. Now I can right click, fit content as an image to the frame. There we are. I can click there and move that wherever I want. You know, I could center it here. I could put it to the right, put it halfway up a column. I can make the same width of a column. I'm going to sort of put it here towards the top. Okay. And once again, I'm going to add some text wrap. I can do that through here or text wrap. And this here. Keep this locked. I'm going to do, once again, that 3.75. I think will look nice all the way around. What I want to be careful is this doesn't get too narrow here. Click off. Not too bad, right? I may feel that has a little bit too much space for that smaller image, so maybe I'll make that not quite so big. There we go. I can grab this type. Okay, and I can justify that type. I can select all this type here, these 2 columns, and justify that. I think a justify block will look a little cleaner from my magazine. Okay, and I can do that for my other ones as well. Type tool, click and highlight this text and justify it. Same here. I think it looks a little cleaner that way. Same here. Justify it. Okay. As you can see here, now I am this text. Even though it's text, it is actually there are actually shapes, right? I have this nice shape here of this column of text. Nice shape here. This becomes a block. This becomes a block, and two different blocks here. So they're not just columns of text; they're actually shapes that you can use for your page layout. Make them interesting. Like this, these two shapes are pretty interesting. Okay. And that's good for this video. Next one we'll add some type and maybe some graphics. Always make sure you save.